Hello, good morning. I am about to discuss Skippy Dies by Paul Murray, part 1, which for me means pages 1 through 132. I haven't had coffee yet. Everything is exhausting. I'm going to tell you guys what I thought of the beginning parts of this book, and then within the next week or two, Allie will be discussing on her channel her thoughts on the second portion, and then I will be discussing it on the third portion, and then so on and so forth. So if you're interested in this novel at all, I'm not really putting any spoilers in it, at least not in this first part, because, you know, it's part 1. So please, you know, tag along. And if you're still interested in joining us, you have plenty of time. We have like a month and a half of this. Skippy Dies is about this boy Skippy. He dies literally within the first few pages, and he dies on the floor of a donut shop. This donut shop is right next to their school that they go to. I said they because the person that was with him when he died was his friend. I'm gonna call him Rupert. It's spelt a little bit funky. They go to an all-boys Catholic school in Ireland. This is a very traditional school. It hasn't been reconstructed ever, which is something that's talked about a lot in this, is should we take away the old to represent some new, just to give society a new light on the school, I guess. It's called the top secondary school, but it doesn't look like it, and some people want to change that. Meanwhile, there are priests that do not want to change it. However, they're getting older and being weaned out a bit. So that's a big part of this. Nevertheless, Skippy dies in the first few pages. After that first portion, we sort of reel it back and we get to know Skippy, and we get to know a lot of his classmates, and we get to know his teachers. This book is written in a lot of different perspectives, one of them being Skippy's. I haven't even taken a sip of my coffee yet. I literally like held it and then just put it down. So one of the perspectives is Skippy's, another one is his roommate's, Rupert's. Then we have one of his teachers, Howard. Some of these perspectives come up a lot. Howard's and also Skippy's come out a lot. Some people have only had their perspectives shown in like a few pages so far, but you can tell that it might be reoccurring. I think I'm gonna roll right into the characters now. You can tell blatantly that Skippy is not like everybody else, and you can tell that the author is trying to make him the underdog. He's portrayed as like very, very innocent. It says on the front cover, it's the Moby Dick of Irish prep schools. And I think what they mean by that is it's just this like lengthy tale about this one school and the things that are happening within it. And I don't think there's going to be this major plot point that happens. Or rather, I think that like Skippy is the plot point. He just represents innocence in this school where there's just like pubescent boys and then just teachers that act like pubescent boys. And you know that he dies already, so you know that they're making him into an underdog figure. And I wonder if I'm ever going to hate Skippy, because he's the one character that I don't dislike. And I think I'm meant to dislike every other character, so I know that that's within the writing, but it's sad knowing that he's gonna die. He's definitely the most interesting part to me, because every other character is very forthgoing about their feelings and very just like, let me yell everything all the time and be aggressive. Skippy is the one that's a lot more quiet, and he has family troubles, and he's trying to go home, but his parents won't let him because they want to make sure that there's this whole like glass castle syndrome protecting their sanctuary of a home, so they don't want to let Skippy in for the bad parts. And at the same time, Skippy's also taking medication, and you don't know if that's medication that was prescribed to him or something that somebody gave him. Either way, you could tell that he's a very fragile being, as opposed to every other character who all sucks. There's Chuck and Barry, I believe. Those are two people, like, that's the worst perspective to read from, but it's also the most intense and the most raw, and you want to see something bad happen to them. So I'm sure it'll happen. Like I said, we have lots of pages left. But they're two characters that just go to the back of the donut shop and just like takes advantage of women and sells them pills, and then tries to find pills and abuses people in order to get them, and that's so they're horrible. But again, they're meant to be horrible, and they'll definitely be like a big point to the story, I think. Howard, the teacher, is also a pretty big focal point, and he's somebody that's in his late 20s and still unsure about everything, especially his love life and what he wants. One thing that I really love about this story is Howard's perspective and Skippy's perspective, and just like the perspective between the two generations, and how one of them sort of represents millennials and one of them represents the like between stage between like millennials and the older generation, the baby boomers of sorts. I love how it just shows how everybody's kind of the same, which was something interesting to think about. I really liked all the different perspectives. Like I said, I liked how it showed the generational pull. But as far as the writing goes, like you have contemporary modern fiction and you have like modern classics. This is like a modern classic. I think it also shows that like where you are in life affects how you take the story, because all of these like horrible aggressive teenage kids that weren't Skippy just reminded me of like new age conservatives. Not to be like super stereotypical, I'm just saying the people in my life that are my age that have different standards and regulations than I do acted about the same, and it was very realistic and raw and kind of heartbreaking. And then you have those like older people, like the priests, that don't want everything to change on them, and they were acting in a very totalitarian way, and they just wanted everyone to do everything the Seabrook way and sing from the same hymn sheet, which I thought was really crazy, and again just like very relatable to the state that my mind is in currently, and just like the things that scare me currently. I feel like real life stuff scares me a lot more now than just like some sort of thriller novel. Yeah, just like current events and my emotions, they've really been affecting this specific reading experience, which has been surprising but really cool. Before I mentioned it's the Moby Dick of Irish prep schools, this book in particular is reminding me a lot of A Separate Piece, which is again a modern classic. However, it's not written as beautifully. A Separate Piece by Joan Knowles is just this like really short novel that's just like this beautiful tale. Something terrible happens to one of the students and you get that story, and something terrible happens to one of these students and you're getting that like prequel story, but it's not written in the same way at all. That one had like a lot of prose and beautiful writing, and this one, it sort of seems like the author is feeling out the writing as he goes. He's like theorizing, and the theories are interesting, and I'm writing down the different theories, but it's almost like he wants me to figure things out for myself, which is so interesting. I'm not seeing a lot of things that I want to underline because I'm like, oh wow, they're so beautiful. I'm underlining them because I'm like, okay, I wonder where this is going, which I don't think I've ever had before. So this has been a very interesting reading experience thus far. I don't know if I'm gonna get anything out of it, but I'm excited to keep going. That's it. If you like just like stories about real people, I'd recommend it. If you have anything to add to this, if you're reading along, please write it down in the comments. Very interested in knowing what you are thinking. I hope you're having a great day and a great week, and I will see you very soon. And if you want to start reading this with us, please do, and then continue with part 2 on Allie's channel within the next week or two. Have a good day. Goodbye.